Joe Biden signs an executive order mandating face masks, then breaks the executive order. The Senate pushes forward on the Trump impeachment trial. Plus, Antifa celebrates the Biden inauguration with more riots. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is the 13-Minute News Hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Joe Biden because he just got inaugurated and he's already trying to erase the Trump agenda with a series of executive orders, canceling Keystone Pipeline, canceling wall construction. The very first executive order that he signed was a federal mask mandate, mandating masks. And we can go into the pros and cons of masks, whether they help at all. There's a lot of science, a lot of debate, but that's for another day. One of the things I do want to stress is that so many of these Democrats push masks and they don't follow it themselves. It's all about the optics, about looking like you're doing something, even if you don't think the masks do anything at all. Remember this guy? All right, so there he goes, getting his mask on. He must have something important somewhere far to go. There he goes. He's ready. Big journey, and it's, let's see, right to the podium, and off comes the mask. All right, so tell me, what good did that do? What good did that do? Getting on off camera, puts your mask on, walks to the podium, takes your mask off. It's all about the optics. But that was Biden's first push. He signs this executive order mandating masks on all federal property, and here's the story from CNN. His first executive order, the 100 Days Masking Challenge, will symbolize the administration's sharp turn from the Trump era by emphasizing recommendations by public health experts. A president cannot tell states or cities what to do, but a federal mandate will affect federal offices and federal lands and will urge states to do the same. The executive action will direct the agencies to take action to require compliance with CDC guidance on mask wearing and physical distancing in federal buildings, on federal lands, and by federal employees and contractors, said Biden counselor Jeff Zients, who will be the administration's COVID-19 response coordinator. Don't you just love CNN? I love giving you sources from a variety of places because then you could see the bias and the wording. And they just blast President Trump here as if he was never promoted masks. Now, he was officially, personally, not really liking masks, but in everything they put out, every expert they had advocated wearing masks. That's just a fact. That's what his experts did. That's what the literature said. And this 100 days of mask wearing challenge, like people weren't encouraged to wear masks this whole time, like they're just starting from scratch. None of it makes sense, folks. But that's Joe Biden and that's CNN. He came out with this mask mandate and he even tweeted this about it. Wearing masks isn't a partisan issue. It's a patriotic act that can save countless lives. That's why I signed an executive order today issuing a mask mandate on federal property. It's time to mask up, America. Again, people have been wearing masks. It's mandated all over the place. You can't get into most places without having a mask, but he's sounding like this is a Biden original. And again, folks, it's all about the optics. We saw Nancy Pelosi, no one looking, she's not wearing a mask. Dianne Feinstein, no one looking, not wearing a mask. Gavin Newsom, at a restaurant where you're not supposed to be, in a crowd, not wearing a mask. They do it over and over again. But Joe Biden, he issues this, mandating masks on federal property. Then, just hours later, he's seen at the Lincoln Memorial, federal property, without a mask. So at the White House press briefing, Fox News' Peter Doocy asked about this masks for thee but not for me type of attitude. And here's the question.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
So pretty straightforward question there. And here's the response.
I think, Steve, he was celebrating an evening of a historic day in our country, and certainly he signed the mask mandate because it's a way to send a message to the American public about the importance of wearing masks, how it can save tens of thousands of lives. We take a number of COVID precautions, as you know, here in terms of testing, social distancing, mask wearing ourselves, as we do every single day. But I don't know that I have more for you on it than that.
So what kind of answer is that? That he was celebrating? And then she says that part of the idea of signing the executive order was to set an example, yet Joe Biden wasn't wearing one. What kind of example is that? So Peter Doocy followed up because President Trump was always hammered. Again, in all the literature, all the experts, they always said wear masks. But President Trump was hammered for not setting the example. So Peter Doocy asked, shouldn't Joe Biden be setting the example? He signs this mandate, and then hours later, he's on federal property without a mask. And here's that response.
Well, Steve, I think the power of his example is also the message he sends by signing 25 executive orders, including almost half of them related to COVID. The requirements that we're all under every single day here to ensure we're sending that message to the public. Yesterday was a historic moment in our history. He was inaugurated as president of the United States. He was surrounded by his family. We take a number of precautions, but I think we have bigger issues to worry about at this moment in time.
So no direct answer at all. And folks, get used to this. These are going to be the new White House press briefings. If there is a hard question, it's going to be ducked and dodged. And most of the questions are going to be softball stuff where everyone is peace and love at the White House press briefing. It's just outrageous. So next, let's talk about the impeachment trial of former President Trump because it's pushing forward. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. We're making our push for 150,000 subscribers, and we can do it with your help. All right. So President Trump was impeached by the House in this rush, no due process. And now the Senate is looking to pick up the trial, to take that article of impeachment and actually have a trial. There's a lot going on in the Senate and some interesting developments on the House side as well. But let's start with the Senate update. Senate Republicans proposed an impeachment trial scheduled Thursday that would put off the start until mid-February, giving all sides time to prepare for what's expected to be a debate over constitutional principles more than about former President Donald Trump's behavior. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said the extra time is necessary to make up for the snap impeachment conducted in the House, which gave Mr. Trump no chance to offer a defense or even to participate. Mr. McConnell is proposing the impeachment articles would be presented by the House on January 28th. Mr. Trump would get a chance to answer on February 4th, and after more legal briefs are exchanged, the trial would commence in mid-February. First, I don't even think this Senate trial is constitutional. I love studying the Constitution. I hope people speak out about this, and if you've got an opinion, got some knowledge, let me know in the comments. Because to me, this is like someone who is under trial for a suspect for robbery or murder and then ends up dying. Nothing the trial can do, no punishment that they can put out will be applicable because it doesn't apply to a dead guy. The whole impeachment trial, the verdict is removal from office. Can't remove someone from office who's already out of office. Now, some will argue that the real push to do this is what happens next. If you convict a president in the Senate on impeachment, you can then vote with a simple majority to bar them from ever running or holding office again. But again, to do that, you first have to convict, which the goal of the conviction is removal from office. President Trump's already out of office. I don't think you can do this. But that's what's going on the Senate side. On the House side, there are a growing number of House Republicans that want to push Liz Cheney out of her leadership position. She is the number 3 GOP leader on that side in the House. And she is one of the 10 who voted to impeach President Trump. And as you saw in that earlier report, this was just a rush job. There was no due process. President Trump couldn't even make a defense. So no one tells me this is a vote of conscience about impeachment or inciting violence. This was a political vendetta against President Trump. And Liz Cheney should be out of that leadership position. Any of those 10 should be stripped of committee assignments. That's how I feel about it. Kevin McCarthy, the House GOP leader, he falls on the side of Liz Cheney. And here's that report. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said Thursday that he supports Representative Liz Cheney retaining her leadership role in the GOP despite her vote to impeach former President Trump. Mr. McCarthy told reporters yes when asked directly about whether the Wyoming Republican would continue to serve as the GOP's number 3 leader in the House. This is the same leadership team with the ranking members and others that came 5 seats away from winning the majority when everybody in America thought we were going to lose 20 seats, Mr. McCarthy said. Yes, we allow differences of opinion inside our conference. They're welcomed, but I think there's questions that need to be answered, style in which things were delivered. At the end of the day, we will unify because our policies are right. So, what do you think? What do you think about Liz Cheney? Was this just a vote of conscience? Sure, you should allow differences of opinions, but look at how impeachment went on the House side. Was that a fair process? Was that due process? Did the defendants get a chance to even speak? No. So let me know what you think in the comments. So next, let's talk about Joe Biden's inauguration and how Antifa celebrated. Because you might have not heard of this in the news, but in Seattle and Portland and Denver and other places, Antifa celebrated with riots. Now, all summer long, Antifa was rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, deaths. No one said anything about it as far as the Democrats were concerned. And why? Because they saw Antifa as a tool to bring down President Trump. They could see this violence and highlight President Trump's supposed lack of leadership. So they didn't say anything. The thing is that by letting Antifa run amok, they opened a Pandora's box, a genie out of the bottle, and they can't control these guys. Now, Joe Biden is president, they're rioting again. And here's the story. Anti-government and anti-fascist protesters in Portland and Seattle vandalized a Democratic Party office and other buildings and scuffled with police on Wednesday, protesting against President Joe Biden's inauguration. People dressed in black and with their faces covered broke windows in the glass door at the Democratic Party of Oregon business office in Portland, spray painting an anarchist symbol over the party's sign. Video posted on social media showed. "We don't want Biden. We want revenge for police murders, imperialistic wars, and fascist massacres," read a banner they marched under. This is just amazing. Again, all summer long, violence, violence, violence. Minneapolis, Portland, Seattle, Atlanta, you name it, these people were doing it. And the Democrats said nothing. They finally did a poll around their convention that said maybe we should speak out about it. That's the first you heard from Joe Biden. All summer long, he said nothing because you can't go against the left. They're part of us. They are part of us. They're attacking President Trump. No, these people just want anarchy. They don't care. And the Democrats let them loose. And now look what's going on. The thing to watch is if the media will even cover it, if they will acknowledge that there is violence out there where Joe Biden should actually do something about it, or if they'll just let it go. And with all of that, that brings us to our Friday segment. We got to ask about Antifa and the left and Democrats and ask them, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call a relaxed brain.
First of all, if you had any doubt of where China stood or stands regarding Trump versus Biden, all you need to do is look at a tweet that was put out by Chinese state-run media. President Trump, during his entire term, took it to China, got rid of these bad trade deals that both Democrats and Republicans promoted. He actually did something about it. Joe Biden, just look at what's going on Hunter Biden's laptop, and you can see all of his ties to China. They clearly wanted Joe Biden, but look at this. This tweet was put out by Chinese state-run media. Good riddance, Donald Trump. Now, that tweet didn't stay up there too long. You had to grab a screenshot before they removed it. But that is their state-run Communist Party Twitter account, and that's what they posted. So, next, Dr. Fauci. He wasted no time with President Trump being gone to throw President Trump under the bus. He appeared at a White House press briefing, and here's a report. New York Times reporter Michael Shear asked Fauci to share his emotional thoughts about the change of administrations and speaking about the virus going forward. The idea that you can get up here and talk about what you know, what evidence, what the science is, and know that that's it, let the science speak, is something of a liberating feeling, he said. Geez, this guy, such a Washington insider, double speak, the virus is going to go on forever, we don't need masks, we do need masks. It's all deep state. He is so entrenched. He is a perfect fit, actually, for the Biden administration. All right, so now let's talk about the White House press briefing. I don't know if you saw any of them this week, but remember Kayleigh McEnany? Remember her getting to the podium and instantly being attacked? She'd come out with a theme for the briefing, and they just ignore that. All they cared about was attack, 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 getting their moment on television for some talking point, some zinger. Jim Acosta made his career just being a jerk at the press briefings. Now, oh, it's a love fest. Look at this. Compare Kayleigh McEnany and her press briefings to an example from this week.
Will he keep Donald Trump's Air Force One color scheme change?
This is such a good question. I have not had the opportunity to dig into that today, given the number of executive actions, orders, the inauguration, a few things happening. I will venture to get you an answer on that, and maybe we can talk about it in here tomorrow.
What can you even say? The colors of Air Force One? These are the questions? I'm going to get to that. That's a great question. Unbelievable. But folks, that's Relaxed Brain, and that's our show for today. Please come back tomorrow for our Saturday live stream, 11 a.m. Central. We'll talk about the Biden inauguration. We'll talk about his executive orders, what's going to be happening, and what we can do about it. That's tomorrow, Saturday live stream, 11 a.m. Central Time. But until then, please subscribe. And when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. And we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.